Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Key coming at y'all boys with a brand new video, and today we're going to get into another one. You know what I'm saying? Philly's going crazy, but they locking everybody up, bro. Philly drill, I ain't gonna cap, it's officially over. This shit done, bro. Everybody getting jammed up, everybody getting locked up. The only person, well, it's a couple people still there, but most of the people, Lil Bucks, YBC Duel. Who else is that other guy? Hop Out Blick. They all in prison or dead, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that drill scene is over with. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it.
One, join the senders, get a body, then you gang with us. Bro, turn on the switchy, try to hop out, hit her face. Jay was lacking on that corner.
The Senders used a motto or a slogan in many of their music videos, raps, and other social media posts. That slogan was, if you want to join the Senders, get a body. Then
you know Kramer gonna be front and center every time they locking somebody up. Look
gang
at
with
this
us.
nigga.
Big bust involving what police are calling 3 major South Philadelphia shooting gangs. 12 people now charged for their roles in more than a dozen crimes, including a homicide. The district attorney says the group is affiliated with a street gang.
Philadelphia law enforcement has announced the dismantling of a violent network of street gangs responsible for a wave of shootings, murders, and armed robberies that terrorized the city for over 2 years. On February 21st, 2025, officials revealed that a grand jury indictment has charged 12 individuals with multiple homicides, attempted murders, carjackings, and
when
serious...
them bodies come up, bro, and you know how they love just like, hey, just throw him in there too. Like, everybody got a body, y'all niggas not coming home.
Firearm offenses, all tied to the escalating war between the Senders, Clappers, and Close Range Gang. These groups, operating primarily in South Philadelphia, but with connections stretching into West Philadelphia, have been locked in a deadly cycle of retaliation from April 2021 to May 2023. The Clappers, based around 7th and Rittner in South Philadelphia, have gained attention for their affiliation with CCK, a larger organization active in West Philly, South Philly, and Southwest Philadelphia. The Senders, known for their ruthless reputation, have 2 factions, one controlling territory around 5th and Christian in South Philadelphia, and another established near 56th and Lansdowne in West Philadelphia. They are widely recognized for their slogan, if you want to join the Senders, get a body, then you gang with us, a phrase that law enforcement says reflects their violent initiation process. The Close Range Gang, though smaller, has played a major role in several shootings alongside the Senders. 12 suspects have been indicted in connection to multiple shootings and murders, with charges ranging from attempted homicide to illegal firearms possession. Among them is 19-year-old Eli A3 Simmons, who prosecutors say is responsible for multiple shootings across the city. Also named in the indictment are 20-year-old Isaiah Brown or Cap G's, 16-year-old Javon Solomon, and 19-year-old Andre Richards, all accused of carrying out violent attacks on rivals and their associates. 20-year-old Tahir Wick.
These niggas be in these songs and in the street talking about they giving their ops belt just to get in court and get belted by the prosecutor.
And 19-year-old Claudia Carter Lewis, both affiliated with the Clappers, have also been charged as part of the ongoing feud. In addition to violent crime charges, several suspects are facing serious firearm offenses under Pennsylvania's Uniform Firearms Act, commonly referred to as VUFA. These charges include VUFA 6106 for illegally possessing a firearm without a license, VUFA 6108 for unlawfully carrying a firearm in public within city limits, and VUFA 6110 for possession of a firearm by a minor. Prosecutors say many of the suspects used stolen vehicles, coordinated ambush-style shootings, and social media threats to escalate the violence. This indictment marks one of the largest gang crackdowns in recent Philadelphia history, but authorities warn that the investigation is still active. More arrests are expected as law enforcement continues tracking down additional suspects and linking unsolved shootings to this conflict. In this video, we'll break down the key players, the timeline of violence, and how law enforcement built its case against these individuals. On April 15, 2021, at 9:48 p.m., gunfire erupted on the 2000 block of South 7th Street, leaving 2 young men, ages 19 and 22, wounded. Both victims were shot multiple times but survived their injuries. Witnesses reported that a lone shooter approached on foot, opened fire, and fled the scene. Police recovered several shell casings from the area, and through further investigation, they linked the shooting to 21-year-old Carl Jarrett, He was later indicted for multiple counts of
Why you
attempted
blurring
murder
his
and
face?
conspiracy.
He a grown man.
He was also charged
21.
with violating VUFA 6106, which prohibits carrying a firearm without a valid license, VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in public in Philadelphia, and VUFA 6110 for illegal possession of a firearm as a minor.
Damn, so
authorities
these niggas got so many trumped up charges in Philly. Not only you gonna catch a case for having a gun, point blank period, and then you gonna catch another charge. Don't know how many years it brings for having it just in the city of Philadelphia.
Identified him as a member of the Senders, and this shooting is believed to have been one of the early sparks in the conflict between the Senders and the Clappers. On January 22, 2022 at 7:12 p.m., police responded to multiple 911 calls reporting gunfire on the 800 block of June Street. When officers arrived, they found 16-year-old Mekhi Ingram, or Lil Ka, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, barely clinging to life. Witnesses described the attack as a calculated execution, with two masked gunmen ambushing him, firing off multiple rounds before fleeing the scene. Lil Ka was rushed to the hospital, where doctors fought to stabilize him. For days, he remained in critical condition. Investigators later identified 20-year-old Tahir Wick Rowe and 19-year-old Claudia Carter Lewis, both affiliated with the Clappers.
No, okay, so Claudia is not a girl.
Authorities
Never mind.
believe this was a targeted hit, carried out as retaliation for a previous attack
Claudia,
linked to the ongoing war between the Clappers and Senders. Both suspects were later indicted for murder and conspiracy, along with VUFA 6106, illegal possession of a firearm, and VUFA 6108, carrying a firearm in public in Philadelphia. While Lil Ka was in the hospital, fighting for his life, the Senders wasted no time moving on retaliation. On January 28, 2022, two separate shootings rocked South Philly within a short span. The first occurred at 11:26 p.m. on the 1400 block of South 6th Street, where a 26-year-old man was shot twice in the leg while standing near a parked car. Less than 30 minutes later, another shooting broke out on the 700 block of Rittner Street, where two men, ages 25 and 27, were shot multiple times in their lower bodies. Surveillance footage captured a dark-colored sedan speeding away from both scenes.
CCK.
Investigators later tied these retaliation hits to 19-year-old Eli A3 Simmons, a known member of the Senders. He was indicted for multiple counts of attempted murder and conspiracy, along with VUFA 6106 for illegal possession of a firearm and VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in public. Authorities believe these shootings were just the beginning, a declaration of war in response to Lil Kai's death. But the damage had already been done. On January 29, 2022, 1 week after the shooting, Lil Kai succumbed to his injuries. The violence escalated further.
Bro,
on January 3rd,
I'm not gonna count, bro. The worst feeling in the world, bro, when you doing some stupid shit like this, is them coming to you and say your charges have been upgraded to murder. You're fucking done.
2022, Philadelphia saw a string of shootings across different locations, all linked to the Senders. The first took place on the 200 block of Robin Street, where a 24-year-old man was shot twice in the leg. Shortly after, another shooting occurred at 8th Street and Snyder Avenue, where a 20-year-old man suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Later that night, on the 700 block of Rittner Street, 3 men, ages 26, 27, and 30, were shot in the legs while standing outside a residence. Earlier that evening, a Honda Accord was carjacked at gunpoint on the 2400 block of South 3rd Street, and the stolen vehicle was later used in one of the shootings. 19-year-old Eli Simmons, known as A3, and 21-year-old Ivan Williams were indicted for multiple counts of attempted murder, conspiracy, and carjacking. Simmons was also charged with VUFA 6106 for unlawful firearm possession, VUFA 6108 for carrying a gun in a public place, and VUFA 6110 for being a minor in possession of a firearm. On February 6, 2022, at 5:19 p.m., a 24-year-old man was shot twice in the stomach outside a corner store on the 1600 block of West Ontario Street. Surveillance footage captured 2 gunmen exiting a silver sedan, opening fire, and then fleeing. Investigators identified 19-year-old Eli Simmons, known as A3, and 21-year-old Carl Jarrett as the shooters. Both were indicted on charges of attempted murder and conspiracy, as well as VUFA 6106 for possessing a firearm without a license, and VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in public. On November 8th, a shooting took place on the 3100 block of West Norris Street. 2 people were injured during the shooting. Then, on February 2nd, 2023 at 4:37 p.m., a mass shooting took place on the 4800 block of Pascal Avenue.
With this, 7 people, 6 of them children, are shot after a gunman opens fire near a school in Strawberry Mansion. One of the children is only 2 years old. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. All 7 victims are being treated at the hospital right now. That shooting happened around 6 o'clock tonight at the intersection of 31st and Norris Streets, right near the James G. Blaine School. Siafa Lewis is live outside of police headquarters with the breaking details. Siafa?
Jess and Yuki, quite simply, the violence continues, as you've noted. 7 more Philadelphians are gunshot victims tonight.
Damn.
5 of them are teens. 1 is just 2 years old.
Now, I ain't gonna cap, gang.
Early Thursday.
It's 2 things that make the police actually do their job. If you shoot or kill one of them, or if you pop a kid. That's probably the real reason these niggas got indicted.
31st
Pop that
and West
kid.
Norris.
So again, we have one 31-year-old that we know of, and then the remaining victims are all juveniles, and those ages range from 2 to 17.
3 gunmen waited inside a stolen silver Hyundai near 31st and Norris Streets, targeting a group of teenagers. As the teens walked past a playground, the shooters jumped out and unleashed at least 30 bullets in just 13 seconds before speeding off. Shayna Moore was walking her 8-year-old son home from school, pushing her 2-year-old daughter Suhara in a stroller when gunfire erupted behind them. A bullet tore through her leg as she struggled to stay on her feet. Moore screamed for her son to run as she tried to push forward, blood rushing down her leg. She didn't realize Suhara had also been shot. The same bullet that hit her leg had lodged in her daughter's thigh. 5 teenagers were also shot in the attack. A 13-year-old boy was shot in the hand. A 16-year-old boy was hit in the arm and leg. Another 16-year-old was shot in the arm. A 17-year-old was grazed in the thigh. And a 15-year-old boy was shot twice in the chest. The shooters fled in the stolen car. Police made no arrests at the time, and the motive was unknown. Moore was rushed to the hospital. She spent days recovering and now undergoes physical therapy. Suhara still has a bullet lodged in her leg, and loud noises startle her. She thought she would feel safe in her own neighborhood. Now, she just wants to get out. "I'm just ready to move," she said. Investigators later tied the shootings to gang violence and charged 17-year-old Alante Outerbridge, a close-range gang member, with 9 counts of attempted murder, conspiracy, and he was also charged with 2 counts each of VUFA 6106, firearm possession without a license, and VUFA 6108, carrying in public.
These niggas.
On April 5th, 2023,
9 murders,
at 10:02 p.m., gunfire erupted on the 700 block of Jackson Street, leaving 2 men wounded. Witnesses reported that 2 masked shooters approached from behind and opened fire before fleeing on foot. Both victims were struck multiple times and were rushed to the hospital in critical but stable condition. Investigators later identified the shooters as 16-year-old Javon Solomon and 20-year-old Isaiah Brown, known as Cap G's, both affiliated with the senders. Solomon was indicted for attempted murder, conspiracy, and multiple firearms charges, including VUFA 6106 for possession of a firearm without a license and VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in public. Brown, known as Cap G's, was indicted for conspiracy and VUFA 6106 for illegal firearm possession. Authorities linked this shooting to the ongoing retaliation between the senders and their rivals.
But another
on April
thing,
6, 2020.
How the fuck? I mean, obviously the people who are getting charged with shootings, it makes sense. But if he didn't get charged with a shooting, or there's no gun, how do you just charge somebody with unlawful possession?
A shooting took place near 22nd and Wolf Streets, leaving 3 men injured. Authorities later indicted 19-year-old Atom L, a member of the senders, for attempted murder and aggravated assault. He was also charged with VUFA 6106 for illegal firearm possession and VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in a prohibited area. On April 20th, 2023, a 19-year-old man was shot twice in the chest outside a shopping plaza on the 4600 block of Wayne Avenue. 19-year-old Eli Simmons, known as A3, was later indicted for attempted murder and weapons offenses. He was also charged with VUFA 6106 for possessing a firearm without a license and VUFA 6108 for carrying a firearm in public. On April 27, 2023, a 22-year-old man was shot in the arm and leg at the intersection of 7th and Rittner Streets in what authorities described as a direct retaliation hit. 19-year-old Eli Simmons, known as A3, was indicted for attempted murder and conspiracy. He was also charged with VUFA 6106 and VUFA 6108 for unlawful firearm possession. On May 1, 2023, a triple shooting occurred on the 600 block of Oregon Avenue, leaving 3 men critically wounded. 19-year-old Andre Richards, a member of the senders, was later indicted for attempted murder and conspiracy. He was also charged with VUFA 6106 for unlawful possession of a firearm and VUFA 6108 for carrying a gun in a public place. This case is far from over.
I'm talking about straight overcooking niggas. You got the Atlanta DA who arrested 28 folks, and really most of them is free right now. Only like very few people is going away for a decent amount of time. And when I say that, I mean 5 years. Most people got less than 10 years in prison. These niggas is finna, bro, they need to learn something from the Philly DA.
District Attorney's Office, the investigation is still active, and more arrests are expected. Law enforcement has made it clear they're still working to connect additional suspects to these shootings and bring in anyone else involved. With the amount of ballistics evidence, surveillance footage, and digital forensics being used in this case,
but they really
officials
want
believe
more.
that more names will surface and more indictments will follow. As the violence continues to spread beyond South Philadelphia, investigators are digging deeper, linking past shootings, tracking affiliations, and making sure that those responsible don't slip through the cracks. While some of these suspects are already facing serious time behind bars, prosecutors have hinted that this takedown is just the beginning. With tension still high in the streets and some key suspects still on the run, this war is far from settled. The question now is, how much more damage will be done before the dust finally settles? That's the full breakdown on this case. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Man, this shit is crazy, bro. Them Philly DAs, I feel like they're also learning. As they start to indict certain people and they just get more and more indictments, they're starting to really learn how to do this shit, learn how to hurry up and get these cases gone, and making examples out of these niggas by slamming their ass when they get the chance. This shit is crazy. It's insane. Y'all get in that comment box. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this shit, bro. Because I know it's a couple people from both sides who got indicted in this video. But just imagine, it's probably like, I want to say maybe, let's say 200-300. I don't know the numbers. Let me take that back. But it's a decent amount of niggas out here in these shootings, bro. Philly might be one of the first places that really clean they shit up. But that's nor here nor there. It ain't my problem. Make sure y'all boys like, comment, and subscribe. Get in that comment box. Tell me how you felt about this video, man. We gone.